Houston, we have a blockbuster trade. Two-time Finals MVP Kevin Durant traded to the Rockets on Sunday. In exchange, the Suns get Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the 10th overall pick in this year's draft, and 5 second-round picks. Durant joins a Rockets team that is coming off its first 50-win season since 2020, looking to become a contender in the West. KD turns 37 in September, will play for his 5th franchise. He's got 1 year left on his current contract, $54.7 million, and is eligible for a 2-year extension worth up to $122 million this summer. News broke about the trade while KD was at Fanatics Fest in New York.
You just got traded!
Seems like, alright, everyone down. Seems like there is a news report that has just taken place about KD's destination. I believe that KD has been traded to the Houston Rockets.
Being a part of the Houston Rockets, I'm looking forward to it. Crazy last couple of weeks, but I'm glad it's over with.
Kevin, I watched you. You didn't find out then. You knew before, right?
I had an idea, but I didn't know exactly when it was going to happen. So I'm glad we kind of did this on stage.
A lot of heartbroken Suns fans right now. What would you like to say? That's not true. No, literally, heartbroken Suns fan. Right over there. What?
I just felt like, yeah, I mean, they wanted me to go. So it's like, I'm glad we both, they got what they wanted and I got what I wanted. So we can move on, and good luck to them going forward. And I always remember my time there, but we on something else.
Didn't work out. Here with Chris Walker, Roy Hibbert. KD turns 37 in September. He started his career with the Supersonics, then signed with the Warriors. It worked there. Later went to Brooklyn and Phoenix. Didn't work at either stop. Roy, will it work in Houston for KD?
I spent some time with Ime Udoka when I was a player development coach for the 76ers. He definitely likes to bring people together. I think he's a good coach. I think he'll get the most out of KD. With all that being said, I don't like trading youth for such, for older players. Obviously, Houston wants to win now. They have Sengun. They have some good pieces still there that they can obviously compete for a championship. But leveraging your future for an older player towards the end, I guess KD's not towards the end of his career. He could probably play for a long time. And obviously, they need extra scoring. But I hope this works out for KD in Houston. My mom and his mom are very close. They go on trips together with the NBA Moms Association. So so hopefully my mom will be able to go see some games in Houston sometime.
Hey, listen, it's hard to say it's a bad decision to part ways with Kevin Durant if you're the Phoenix Suns. I mean, he's older. It wasn't working out. They had this imagination of the big three with Bill and Booker, and it just did not work at all. But that's been the thing that's happened a few times for Durant. So, there's questions lingering with that. Going to the Houston Rockets, I was worried they were going to give up like Jabari Smith or Tyron Eason, and they didn't do that. Jalen Green, who I think he fell out of favor with the team a little bit. I don't know if he's Ime Udoka's type player. And Dillon Brooks, who's much maligned in a lot of ways. So I think the Rockets actually won in this trade. The 5 second-round picks, forget about that. They can have those. And the 10th pick in the draft, that's just a young kid. If we can look at the NBA right now, what young player is playing right now? At the end of the day, the Rockets want to win now. They prioritize that. Remember, they just hired DJ Augustine, Royal Ivory, both UT guys are on the staff. So at the end of the day, this is what they wanted. And the last thing I'll say is Ime Udoka, even though he got a big contract, what happened to Frank Vogel? What happened to Thibodeau? What happened to Budenholzer? It means nothing. He knows I need to win right now.
Yeah, Durant joins a Rockets team that's coming off their first 50-win season since 2020. Roy, you know how stacked the Western Conference is, but where do the Rockets stack up in the Western Conference now with KD?
Well, I will say this. I like to take a step back because I don't like to be so reactionary. Like when the Pacers made that trade for Pascal Siakam, you can go back and find the tape. I said that they need a good summer together to make sure that they can gel cohesively. Because I know how it is to have Danny Granger on your team all of a sudden, and they trade for Evan Turner, and you had to turn things around very quickly. Now, at the same time, I hope they can get it done. I asked you what was his KD's draft, not his draft, but his contract situation. I don't know if there's going to be enough time to gel as quickly. I hope they get it done. They have some young wings that can really defend and have some gusto. I really like Thompson, but at the same time, I don't know if they have time to gel to turn this thing around.
Listen, it comes down to his leadership skills. And I hate to say that I question that, When he was with the Warriors, it was great, but who was the leader? I know he benefited from it, and now the last 6 years, what has happened? So, again, we can talk about why those things happen, and I'm sure KD can litigate that as well. The bottom line is you're going to a team where you actually have a legitimate chance, but even though the Thunder could win this series, I think the West is very, very difficult to win in, and I think that the Rockets upgraded. They really put themselves in a situation where if they're the #2 seed with Green and Brooks, now you're bringing KD. The question is, KD is brought not to win in the regular season. He's brought to win where? In the playoffs.
Yep.
And that's where they faltered this year. So Ime Udoka has already been to the championship already. He knows what that feels like. And now here he is again. He's getting one of the best players I've ever played the game. The question is, can he be healthy? And can he help lead this team?
Well, he didn't win in the playoffs in Phoenix in 2 full seasons with the team. The Suns with KD, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal did not win a playoff game. It was a failure, much like KD's stint in Brooklyn. Chris, how will you view KD's time in Phoenix? How are you going to look at it?
I mean, I hate to use the word failure, because, but it did not work out well because, and I'll even blame the GM and the way they constructed the team. And it just goes to show you with the 2 teams that are playing now, it takes more than that. It takes more than having 3 guys, and it's got to be the right mix. It's called lineup optimization. It's got to be the right mix of guys. You know, Devin Booker had already played in the finals. People don't realize Phoenix had played in the finals in 2021, and they blew it up, got rid of 8. The next day, you know, they bring in KD, they bring in Bradley Beal. And here's the thing. I remember when the Lakers brought in Rajon Rondo, and they had, like, Westbrook and all those guys, and they said, we got all these Hall of Famers. I'm like, these guys are old. That's not going to work. And no one ever talks about it when it falls. They always talk about this is what's going to happen.
Right.
Well, look what happened. And look what happened in Phoenix. And look what happened in Brooklyn. I don't think the same thing will happen in Houston because of Ime Udoka. And I think they have enough solid pieces around him. But to me, it all reverberates around his health and his ability to lead. But the way he was mentioned in Phoenix, you already heard what he said. They didn't want me anymore. He's right, they didn't.
Well, in the deal, the Suns get Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the 10th overall pick in this year's draft, and as we mentioned, 5 second-round picks. So, Roy, when you look at this team currently constructed, where do the Suns go from here?
This is a complete rebuild. To me, the biggest question is, you know, obviously seeing how Dallas and the Lakers went about their business trading their whole franchise players. Is this a rebuild where we're going to see Booker and being moved in addition to Beal once those dominoes fall and do a complete rebuild? You get all these picks, the top 10 pick in the first round and obviously all those second-round picks. What more can you get if you do want this clean house and you say, hey, you know what, Booker, let me see what I can get from him, and then let me see what I can get for Beal. Obviously, he has a no-trade clause. I'm not sure how exactly all that works. But I think they may need to do a rebuild because I'm not sure how you can continue to build around Devin Booker when there's been so much flux of like teammates. Like you said, DeAndre Ayton, who was getting killed by his teammates a couple years ago because he wasn't aggressive and everything like that. That's what the Phoenix Suns needed. They needed defense at the rim, and they went around for big guys, and they couldn't do it. I think defense was their biggest issue the past couple years to build around Booker and KD, but they're in a rebuild phase, and I feel like they should do a total rebuild.
And you know what? How do you feel about that Ayton trade now? I mean, think about it. You were in the finals, you know, and you get rid of them, you ship them, and now look what the program is now, and the team is now. You got Jordan Ott, a new coach who's never coached in the NBA, a promising coaching candidate, and hopefully he can repair what's going on. But you got Matt Ishbia, a new owner who comes in. They have these ideas of this is how it works in business, but this is how it works in sports. It's very different, you know? And so, again, it comes down to the right coach with the right lineups. You see what OKC has done with guys that are fringe guys, and you put an SGA, you get a great draft pick in Jalen Williams, who was from Santa Clara, Isaiah Joe, a guy people didn't think was going to be good out of Arkansas, and Wiggins. They figured it out. Now, they got Chet Holmgren, right? But they also traded for Hartside. So it's, and they traded for Caruso. So it's a mix of things, but you got to have GMs that know what they're doing. They brought in Brian Gregory, who's a college guy, and you got a first-time head coach. So, again, I'm not saying that that can't change the way things are done, but, I mean, where's your confidence level there?
Right.
And a new owner. So we'll see. Blow it up, maybe. They're not getting rid of Booker, but Bill may be on his last leg. There's no way they're getting rid of Booker. Bill may. Why would you do that?
He said the same thing about Luka. He went to the finals.
Yeah, but who are you going? The question is who you're going to get for him.
Right.
You know, you can get rid of him all you want, but who are you going to get for him? You just said the West was crowded. The West is crowded. You get rid of Booker, you better get a superstar, or you're going to be in a cellar dweller for a very long time.
Well, it turns out that it did not work with KD in Phoenix, another failed experiment. KD went to college at Texas. Now he's back in the state of Texas, now playing for the Houston Rockets. And look, we're going to be talking about the Suns pick coming up here in 3 days, because day one of the NBA draft is Wednesday, and we'll have wall-to-wall coverage right here on CBS Sports HQ. Our experts delivering pick-by-pick grades and analysis on the clock on HQ.